Reviews review work under feedback is where you're actually going to perform peer review. So what does that look like? You'll see the criteria. They won't necessarily be in order. You don't have to treat them in the order that they appear in Creator. Look at each one and you have to do two things for each criterion. The first thing you need to do is to decide the rating. So again, you want to refer to the key for the ratings. So if there is no RGA dissemination plan, then you'll just acknowledge that there's nothing for you to rate. If you looked at the dissemination plan and it requires major improvement, that's a 1. Significant improvement, it's good, but it still requires some improvements that are significant, a 2. If it's good and the improvements required that you can think of are minor, all the way up to a 4. So first thing you have to do, very important, you have to move the little slider. If you don't do this, then you're giving the person all zeros. That's probably not what you want to do. So for each criterion, you need to move the slider. So if I had looked at this and decided this was a 3 and there were minor improvements, the next step, once I've assigned the rating, is to explain the rating. So you're not just you're not giving a grade. You are a peer. You're giving constructive, actionable advice, suggestions, recommendations to the author for how they can improve. So if you think that the RGA dissemination plan requires minor improvements, you need to actually spell out what those are in a way that next week the author can take that recommendation and run with it and actually go back to their dissemination plan, and within the allotted time, you only have 1 week to finalize, actually do something to improve the dissemination plan. So if you just say good job or requires improvement, those are not helpful comments. The quality of the feedback you give is going to make a tremendous difference for your peers, and that is really important. So you'll do that for the references. You'll look at are the references there? Are they meticulous? Do they demonstrate breadth of research? And can the sources be verified? Has the work of colleagues been acknowledged? And again, you have the scale here, and then you have to explain it. So that you will do for practicality, for audience, for imperfection principle. You'll have to give a rating and substantive explanations. If you put in 2 words or 3 words, you will not be able to submit your peer review. This requires substantive, constructive suggestions, advice, and recommendations. Otherwise, it will not fly. You will not be able to share your feedback. So again, you want to go through, give ratings for all of these. All right. If I thought the recommendations were excellent, the executive summary was a 3, title and optional use. I think that maybe be a great picture. Now, to check whether you have completed all feedback requirements and to submit your feedback, go to the project status tab. So if I click here, that takes me to project status in about this work. And here, you can see that the review is incomplete. As I said, you need to have assigned ratings and substantive explanations that provide constructive suggestions, advice, and and recommendations that are actionable, that the author will actually be able to use. And only then will this button light up so that you can submit feedback.